In this video, we're going to talk about discernment and why the red pill isn't always the answer. So here's the thing. So many of us that are on this path of spiritual awakening and remembering, because it really is a journey of remembering so much more than self-discovery, want to help others, right? Like it's coming from a place where we truly do want to help our friends, our family, our coworkers, our colleagues. And sometimes it even feels like we almost want to shake them and be like, come on, this is the way. But that's not the way. That comes actually from our own unhealed traumas, limiting beliefs, and so much more that actually manifests in the human fixer pandemic. In my book, Soul Life Balance, A Guide to Igniting and Integrating Spiritual Awakenings, I talk about the fixer pandemic. And basically what this is we have a fix-it mindset where we oftentimes look for areas that we want to fix something. And what that actually is avoidance. It's us seeing something in another, and rather than us looking at another as a mirror of ourselves, getting curious of what is that showing in me, we want to go directly towards them and say, oh, let me fix this thing, and here's the way. And the truth is, the deeper work in this whole path of remembering, self-discovery, whatever you want to call it, doing the work as it relates to seeing others and wanting to shake them, to bring them on this path that we're on, is understanding. It's compassion. And it's curiosity to see what's arising up within us that is making us really want to shake them, because that is the deeper work. That is the shadow work for us to lean into what is coming up for us. Why do we feel that way? What is the story? And how can we lean into that and reprogram whatever that specific subconscious limiting belief is for you? Having said that, the main focus of this video is the red pill. Now, most of you have probably seen the movie The Matrix. If you have not, I highly recommend seeing that movie. It is one of the foundational movies that you can watch where you can find spirituality in a feature blockbuster film. Amazing film. Quick recap. The main character, Neo, is sitting down with Morpheus, and he gives Neo an opportunity to take the blue pill or the red pill. The blue pill gives him an opportunity to go back to that amnesia state, because before we are consciously and intentionally on a path of spirituality doing the inner work, we're actually in a state of amnesia. And the awakening process is the remembering. And the red pill is almost like a psychedelic experience. That's what these plant medicines and earth medicines allow us to do. They allow us to tap into that inherent remembering in the awakening process. So Morpheus gives Neo a choice. Do you want to go back to amnesia with the blue pill, or do you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole with the red pill? And this is the most important thing to know, because some people just aren't ready for the red pill. Now, if you take a moment and just reflect on your journey, you'll probably start to see a breadcrumb trail of synchronicities, of things unfolding naturally for you and organically that led you to earth or plant medicine experience, a Kundalini awakening, whatever it was that gave you that first big awakening experience that led you on that path. Most likely, it was something that you were guided to. You were probably confused, being like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is all just in so much flow and alignment. And I'm going to say yes, because it feels good in my body. Now imagine instead if someone came up to you and said, hey, I did ayahuasca, or I did bufo, or I had this psychedelic experience and it completely transformed my life. You gotta do it too because it was amazing. What do you think your reaction would have been? For some of us, maybe that is how you got here. Or maybe you have been like, hey, I need that. For others, we might have heard that and been like, well, maybe. I know in my situation, when I first heard about ayahuasca, it was actually not till 2018, believe it or not. And I went really deep on my journey after I sat with ayahuasca in 2019. Having said that, in 2018, This guy came into my life and told me about microdosing with psilocybin mushrooms. I was a Silicon Valley executive at the time, and I thought to myself, man, I really loved mushrooms in high school and in college, but I haven't really been doing mushrooms in my 20s. I've been so focused on business. But he was sending me these articles about how microdosing with psilocybin mushrooms is a thing amongst Silicon Valley executives, and it helps them with their workflow, their creativity, and so much more. And that was the thing that really opened my eyes to it. I was like, all right, I'll do that. And I had amazing results. That was also around the time I got into meditation. Now, the same guy that came into my life telling me about microdosing with mushrooms started telling me about ayahuasca. And I was like, ayahuasca? What are you talking about? He sent me some videos, this and that. He was telling me how amazing it was. And I researched it. I felt it in my body that one day I'm probably going to do that. And I know that if things hit the fan and I am in a state of emergency, I have the opportunity to lean into that deeper work. But at that time, I wasn't ready. So if he had forced that onto me when I wasn't ready, what do you think would happen? You probably already know someone who went through a similar type of experience where someone told them, hey, like I did this thing, whether it's bufo, ayahuasca, a mushroom ceremony, a kundalini activation through a process of KAP, that's an acronym for a kundalini activation process, and they didn't really know about it, and then they started to struggle so much in the integration. Most likely it's because it was more forced upon them and they didn't own their own sovereignty and power and say, hey, wait, what is this? I don't know if this is actually a good idea for me. Going back to my story, I heard about ayahuasca, wasn't in alignment, but it piqued my curiosity. In the spring of that following year, in 2019, I went through a numbing depression, and that's when ayahuasca fell into my lap. It literally fell into my lap. Everything about it. And I'll save that story for another time. I've told it a lot. It's not relevant to what we're talking about now. What is relevant was it all happened organically. It just unfolded. I didn't understand anything really at the time, but I knew there was a larger force at play. And because I was at that point of surrender already, that's when I said yes. And that's when everything opened up for me. I just kept going deeper, 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 deeper down the rabbit hole since 2019, literally with blindfolds on, got out of the toxic relationship I was in, moved away from Silicon Valley to the beach at Santa Cruz, changed the content I was consuming in my friendships and relationships to have blinders on everything about soul development. And I was ready for that integration. And that is what this channel, Spirituality Simplified, is all about. It's about how to integrate spirituality into everyday life. If someone in your life you think can benefit from a plant or earth medicine, it would be so beneficial for them, I would invite you to feel into really, what is it in you that's rising up, is telling you this story about them? Why are you focusing on someone else rather going back into your own inner world? Because remember, as quantum physics teaches, our outer world that we experience in our five senses is a direct reflection of our inner world. So rather than going to that fix-it mentality and trying to change someone else, can you soften? Can you sit into contemplation and reflection, maybe even journaling about what's coming up for you? Because remember, some people just aren't ready for the red pill. That's not to say that they won't have their experience and they won't take the red pill at some point in their life, but that is for them to choose. It's not for us to choose. I hope you resonated with this video. I hope you got so much out of it. If you find that this would be helpful for someone in your life, feel free to send it to them. If you're new to the Spirituality Simplified channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new episode. I have educational content like this, breathwork exercises, meditations and visualizations, and so much more. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.